today we'll be talking about new season, new problems. Girl, are you ready to get into it?
Let's get into it.
Okay. Like I said, we're talking about new seasons and new problems. And the first subtopic that we wanted to get into today was mental health and family issues. So we both kind of touched on that. We are on our own mental health journeys. So let's get into this.
I feel emotional right now.
And why?
That's why I brought this down.
Why are you emotional?
Because mental health is really a big topic for me. I feel like I have suffered in silence for so long. I think that oftentimes people see me as strong and they don't really see the vulnerable sides of me, the soft sides of me. I know that it's because I didn't often feel safe, to be vulnerable because of just being taken advantage of, because of not feeling emotionally supported by my family, and me even going to therapy today, like me just having certain revelations and breakthroughs, like you've been in pain for so long and you have to learn how to receive help. And like even my therapist was just like, oh, you're so self-aware. And it's like, I hate that aspect, right? Because you can be, it's like knowing you're dying, but you don't have that like there's no cure. Like you're dying, but there's nothing you could do about it. So you being self-aware is actually depressing. It does not make you feel better. It doesn't make you feel stronger. If anything, it raises the question, well, what's wrong with me? If I know all these things and I can't fix them, like I can't do anything about it. And it just is very, not just depressing. I don't want to just throw that word around, but in a sense, it's like a level of devastation. And I know that I will be getting the help that I need, but I think it's just hard, especially when it's like all people really have for you is just to like pray about it. And I know that prayer does work. I'm not going to downplay prayer, but what happens when it's not enough? And I think that sometimes people don't understand that sometimes it's only your suffering that brings you to God. Because if you just have it all together and nothing's wrong, what would truly be the reason to go to God? You wouldn't have one. And I think that for me, that is a really hard concept for me to accept. That, dang, like you that messed up that you gotta go through suffering to go to God. Like you don't just go to God. And I think that it's more so about having a relationship with God and what that looks like versus religion. I see how God has moved in my life, but at the end of the day, you still have to unpack all that stuff because that is your old person. And until you release that was something that you will carry with you, and it will prohibit you from walking into your stuff because you're not going to know how to handle it.
I want to know, you said that you noticed that you've been paying for a long time. And when it comes to being in pain for so long, how is it unpacking and unlayering? How is that?
Worse than the pain you've been in. Because now you're exposed.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a level of comfort in pain because, especially if that's all you've known. So to understand that, okay, after, it's kind of like you got burned, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it hurts initially,
Mm-hmm.
but after a while, it's like you kind of get over it.
Yeah.
Versus when you put something on that burn.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. It hurts.
Yeah. And I want to go back a little bit. So you're saying that you've been in pain for so long, and a lot of people wouldn't know this about you, and they see you as somebody who is so strong.
Right.
You're up doing things. When would you say all of this became real to you? When you started to realize, hey, I'm not okay. Something is off.
I can't pinpoint a moment, but I will say that once you start drinking every single day at 7 o'clock in the morning, as soon as you wake up, the first thing you do is drink. I think at that point, you know, and really at a point where you don't even want to drink, but you still do it anyway, because your mind is telling you you can't function, you can't be a person without this. It's a dangerous thing when you start depending upon something to exist. And I think that's the point where you say, oh no, something is wrong. And not even like, oh, you're not strong. More so you just, it's beyond. At that point, you're not even thinking about strength. You're thinking about survival.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I still have to do X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah, but you're not surviving. You're actually slowly killing yourself.
Exactly.
And going even deeper in that dark place in your mind.
Exactly. And you don't know that, right? Until it's too late. And I remember, it's funny because when I was driving, I thought about saying this on this podcast about this particular moment. That's a funny moment, but crazy. I was really, really high, out of my mind. You remember this, Zaria? And literally, what did I say about hospital?
Oh yeah, she looks at me. Am I in the hospital? I said, are you in the hospital? I was like, you might be in the hospital. Because honestly, see, I'm the kind of person, a lot of weird stuff can happen around me, and I'm really not going to be scared. I was just like, are you in the hospital? And I was like, you sick? And he was like, I'm sick. And he was like, I feel sick. And I was like, so then you're in a hospital. God's trying to save you. You finna die. You're in a hospital.
Yeah. So, even in that, when I was playing Going Up Beyond It.
Yes! And I was like, stop playing that one, because it was kind of in alignment with what I just said about you in the hospital. You sick. God trying to save you.
Right. And I think that even when that song was playing, there was a level of peace.
Yes, you said that.
I honestly felt like that's a better place to be. Like, this earth is so terrible. And I never had suicidal thoughts of killing myself and stuff like that, but I definitely did not want to be in this body. I was like, let's pick a different person, like, because this right here, I can't do. So, yeah, I think that addiction is a key thing. I think also my biological grandfather, he died from cancer a couple years ago. He was an alcoholic. My grandmother, she was a drug addict. So I have these things in my family and lineage, you know. So in that, I don't regret a thing though. And that's why first of all, I'm not ashamed about it. That's the least thing I'm ashamed about. Yeah. To be honest. That's just like, I don't know. Anyway, maybe I've normalized it, but I say all to say is that for me, I don't regret that because I didn't understand how many people battle with this. I didn't know I was an alcoholic. Like, genuinely, I did normalize it. Not just, I did normalize it. I was okay with it. I didn't really see no wrong. If anything, I was just more scared about killing myself, literally, physically, than caring about how this was impacting me spiritually.
I think one thing to note, when you were saying like your grandmother and your grandpa, like a lot of things that we are currently battling go so deep and it's so spiritual. It's like things that have been placed throughout the bloodline through generations on generations, which is why tying back in when you were saying like how in suffering it brings you closer to God. There's certain things that you really do have to war in the spirit to really get off of you. And so once you already kind of open the door to other things, the devil then uses that and then kind of light something on the inside of you. You didn't know when you first started drinking that that was what you were battling deep down in, that in your bloodline, your grandma. You didn't never thought, like, you knew about them, but you didn't think that that would be your portion, or that you would even get to this place where you're battling so much in your mind that that would become what sustains you. So it kind of just happened, and then once you're in it, and you don't see your way out, because it's like you just trying to wake up every day and just go to work, go to school. At the time when this first started in her life, she was in school still and working. We had been living on our own for a while, so every day she's just trying to figure out, how can I survive? And then so long, that just becomes normal until you realize, hey, I'm dying here. And that's when God and his grace is just so good. Like there were so many times where it's like, I've seen where he came in and saved her, and even now, like what you said, how he transformed your life, like in the past 4 weeks. And we could get into that a little bit more as we keep going. It just takes one yes. Give him your one yes, and he can really come in and kind of just shift things on the inside, because it's like you said, being on this earth is heavy, it's hard. We battle things on a daily. Just so many spirits that are currently just in other people, that's an attack on us. We don't even know. People, literally the way that God has people on assignment for people, the devil has people on assignment for us as well. So it can be very heavy and it can be very draining, which is why like really developing your relationship with God and going closer is the key. And also taking care of your mental health. You do got to go to therapy. You do. Sometimes you got to talk about some stuff. Some stuff runs deep. Literally. And I'll just touch on a little bit with mental health and just my own personal journey why I decided to go to therapy. I'm the kind of person who most people wouldn't know what's going on with me. I'm very good at kind of like suppressing and holding things in and just keep going, staying busy. I learned that I had to really just start saying the things that I don't say, going deeper in my mind, because I was no longer able to just cope or just live in a world of suppression or just continue moving how I move. Like it literally was not working. And as things are progressing towards the end of that school year, I was really not just being myself. Like I would be quick to leave. Like I would still show up and do everything that I had to do. I would leave though. I don't want to really engage with people. I really kind of just wanted to be to myself and just kind of sit in my thoughts. But I also know that just sitting in your mind is really how the devil can also attack you as well, because it's just you and your mind in there, which is why I say this all the time. Like God is my mind regulator. He is my mind regulator. He is my peace. So as that was going on and I was starting to see myself, it was really this that made me be like, okay, I'm going to therapy. Something had happened. I don't even remember what happened, but it triggered these deep emotions, and I was just crying. And I just came home and was like, what's wrong? She's just confused. And I couldn't really find the emotions. That's another problem. I have a hard time putting the words to the feeling. I just know how I'm feeling. And I was just crying. And I was trying to figure it out, and then, we kept talking, and I was just explaining everything that was happening and why I was feeling like this. Move on. I'm like, okay, well, I got choir rehearsal. So, pat. Let me fix some concealer. I gotta go to choir rehearsal. I walk in. I'm still down, not really realizing that that's what I'm putting out. I'm just like, I'm here. And when I walked in, one of my real good friends, she was like, what's going on with you? She said, I've noticed over the last few weeks, just you haven't really been yourself. Like you just seem so just down, like that light that I always see is not really there right now. Like what's going on? And when she said that, I was just like, oh Lord, like I was gonna start crying again. I started crying. I had to dip, go to the bathroom real quick, get myself together. Normally I've done this plenty of times where things would trigger me to cry, like just wipe it up, go back, move on. I could not stop crying. It just kept going, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Like it's rehearsal, I need to be in there now. So I sought out therapy then and just kind of started talking about my emotions and things like that. And I would say as life continued to go, one thing with me, I can get busy pretty fast and I'm like, okay, well, I got through that. I'm fine. Moving on. And then something else comes that triggers that same situation. And like over and over, constantly back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No, there's a problem here that you're not actually getting to the root of, because you shouldn't be having random emotional breakdowns. That's not okay. So that's what led me to kind of go seek out therapy now.
And how do you feel like therapy has helped you?
I think therapy has caused me to think a little bit deeper in regards to my emotions, how things have impacted me. Like I said, a lot of stuff has happened throughout my life that I just, in a moment, it may have affected me. I suppress it, move on. But it's like you didn't actually move on. You suppressed it, but it's still there. The fact that you have to suppress something lets you know that it's still in you. The devil will use those little things as strongholds. And like I said, in my mind, I find escape in my mind. But it's not actually an escape. I'm actually being in a little bit of torment going in there. So it's like, why do I feel like I have to escape from reality by being in my mind? What's going on?
Oh my God.
Now, as we continue this topic about mental health, we want to touch on mental health and family issues and the impact that the two can have on your mental health. All right. So as we know, family runs deep. That they are the people who have engraved us. Whether you have a close relationship with your family or not, even that has engraved you and is a part of your story as to how you are today. So all of that plays a huge role. And
yeah,
I would say, just kind of touching briefly on that, my family as a whole are really big personalities, and they believe strongly in what they believe, and that can go many different directions. We got time, so we'll get into that another time. That can go in many different directions, and one thing I will say, growing up like that, you have to learn to navigate finding yourself in the middle of that, which can be a lot of pressure sometimes, which is why I feel like one of the biggest things when it comes to family and mental health, you do have to set some healthy boundaries.
For me, what I'm trying to unlearn in regards to family is that you are not a bad person. You are not a bad Christian for choosing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when you grow up in a family that's so enmeshed, like my family is, it's kind of like you betraying your tribe by, like you said, setting boundaries or speaking up against, injustices and traumas that have been passed down from generation to generation. And me being like the youngest on my dad's family, I think that it's hard because it's like nobody wants to listen to the baby, right? Like, you don't know anything, but it's like, I actually do. Like, I've actually studied this. I've actually tried to look into this so that I don't repeat patterns, so that I do become my best self. So I think that, like she was saying, when you're trying to form your identity, you can't do that with all the noise, because you can't even decipher what's God and the enemies, let alone what's God, the enemies, theirs.
Yeah, God.
But then when you're associating Christian people who made it seem like they are, how can you then decipher what's disobeying God or going against God versus the human? And not even going against them, but maybe not, doing everything that they say as if it is the word. What always just makes me think of it is 10 years ago, I was an actual child. So that's all we have to refer back to is childhood. Great part about becoming an adult is this version is only me and God got to say about this. So that I can really trust that who I am is who I am.
Yeah. It's not an easy process. We're 23. Well, I'm 20. She always likes to call me old. She likes to call me old. I've been 23 for a couple months.
Very much so.
Her birthday is in May.
Couple months is crazy.
Compared
compared to me.
We are new in this adulthood thing. Like, this is new, very fresh. So it's a process. Like she said, like 10 years ago you were a child. So that's so many years that has actually shaped you. But it's like, think of like the clay. Like, you know, when you're doing pottery, like you're shaping it, but it's not done yet. It didn't harden yet. We're not hardened yet. So God is still shaping us. And now,
Amen.
you know.
That's so good. That is so good, because I was thinking about that when I was in the car today. I had saw, you know, Mecca's friend Janila, how she was talking about like serious adults.
Yeah.
But I struggle with that sometimes, where I'm like, am I not mature enough? Because you could be an old soul and be 5.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, that doesn't make me feel more mature. You get what I'm saying? And I like what you said. It's not for me to like, how I'm relating it to me, it's like, it's not for me to feel anything because I'm not molded yet. Like, you know what I mean?
You're going through the making process.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
so good.
He's forming you. He's forming you.
That's so good.
And that's why, kind of like when I was saying earlier about being open right now, like allowing God to show me old things that I didn't even realize were things that have been impacting me, things that I didn't even realize have been strongholds. Like, I'm so open because I know that God is in the formation process right now. And I'm like, I know, tying back into why I said ready, because it's like, I feel it, and I feel where it is that God's getting ready to take me. I know I'm not ready yet, and he's doing that molding, he's doing it. I'm transforming. So we're going to get there. It's soon.
Yeah.
It's soon.
Yeah.
It's on the way for us. God is already even giving us a glimpse of what it is that he's trying to do. So it's not for us to get weary in the process. And it's hard, especially when it's like you are having to process your past, process your current, because there's a lot that goes on a day-to-day, especially as a young adult. And then you're also thinking about your future. But God is doing the work.
Amen.
So let's keep going. The next thing we wanted to talk about, and this kind of ties into that as well, kind of like God is doing the work and transitioning out of just some things. Post-grad and self-discovery. So we graduated in May. So we a few months out. How you feeling post-grad and this self-discovery that's going on?
A few more months until 1 year.
Crazy.
Right?
Doesn't even make sense.
Honestly, like the mental health, the family, all that. When it comes to the post-grad, I think that is what I have most peace about. And what I mean by that is, I'm gonna say 2 parts. Graduated, I was stressed out. I was depressed, not because I was graduating. I was depressed just being in college and dealing with life and all that. And then, you know, things happened, and I was supposed to do something that I didn't do that. And then I was still, you know, just battling. But then I was just like, okay, let me just like be happy to not have to go to school. Let me be happy that I'm just chilling, because I didn't get a job until September. Like, let me like relish in this, because when you've been in college for 4 years and you can't do anything and you're used to always being on the go, that is a lot, right? And then there was like, okay, I'm stressed. There's a lot of pressure that's being put on me to like find a job. Okay, cool. And I feel like I had like, you know, a cool little few months. And I feel like December, January is like really like the end of January, really, where I started to have a lot of, not even just doubt, because I can't say it was fully doubt, but I just wasn't in full trust. I feel like I had a lot of insecurity, really, more than doubt, because I really do believe what God told me. I think that the insecurity comes in when you are now feeling like, why am I still here? You know, physically in this area, like I'm ready to move, I'm ready to go, but I still have to trust God's timing. Of insecurity, of like, okay, God, well, did you tell me what you told me, or am I doing the right thing, or is this going to pay off? Sometimes even waiting for the other shoe to drop. When you know God has called you to do something great, you just want to be to the great. You know what I mean? It's hard to, okay, Lord, I'm still working this 9 to 5. This ain't the great. Like, what? You get what I'm saying? Like, and it's not the worst, but it's like, I know, God, you have not called me to settle in this.
Like, for me, post-grad, Where do we begin? Honestly, my post-grad issues started while I was still in school, before I was even a graduate. Like, I'm a planner, for one. I'm a planner. I'm quick to be like, okay, this is happening. What's next? X, Y, and Z got to be done for this to be executed. I'm going to figure it out. Okay, what do I need to do? I had all these plans. Nothing was going according to plan. There was no X, Y, and Z figure it out. Honestly, before I even graduated, I was very just kind of in a place of just like stress. And this did play a role in the whole mental situation that was going on too. So all of that adding on was just a lot, like the emotions, and then you're also stressed, and then there is a lot of stuff going on. It was just heavy because I was just like, Lord, what's next? Like, you ain't made nothing clear to me what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I don't know how the next few months transitioning out of Dillard is getting ready to look. Like, where's the door? Where's the door? Time before I was getting ready to leave Dillard, one of the things I said I wanted to do was I wanted to drop my first EP. That didn't happen. As you see, there is no music. Coming soon though. And I was like, okay, well, I can't do the EP right now. It's not working out, but I'm gonna at least do the song. At least do one of the songs. And I started the process of recording it. I was feeling hype. I was feeling good. I was going to the studio. This was the weekend of graduation. Like, regularly, I was making up like the time. Like, I had my song. It was just good. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be great. I get the song sent to me. It was a flop. Like, the production. I'm not even going to get too much in that. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I was distraught, y'all. When I tell y'all, I was distraught. I was at home, like, I heard it. I just started breaking down, like, crying. So it's just like, what is this? Because it's like my hopes are like, okay, well, this is my thing. Like, I got this song. God, I know you gave me these words. I know you put it in me to do this. I'm so excited to do it. I'm ready to launch. Like, I want to put this out here. And then I just was going in my mind, just thinking like, man, like, am I even supposed to do this? Like, how am I going to do this? This don't even sound right. Maybe I need to look at a different profession. Like, am I in the wrong? Just so many, just craziness, just going in my mind. And like, I just really had to sit and be like, okay, Zaria, first of all, you trust God or do you not? Because it's like, you seem like you got so much of your own voice leading you. Okay, if this wasn't the door, if this wasn't how it's supposed to be, that don't close what God already showed you and told you. You already know and you feel secure that God gave you this gift for a reason. You're going to be able to put this out there. You're going to be able to do that. It's just not in your own timing. And so I had to really let go of that. And it was kind of hard. One thing I've learned and one thing I know has been the thing that's been holding me back, me not fully relinquishing my will and really just allowing God to move and orchestrate things because of my resistance and me trying to make sure I have everything together. I'm not allowing God to be God and really just show up and like, he keeps showing me, but it's like, why you keep giving me all this resistance? Why you keep coming back to me just like, Lord, what's next? I got you. I'm going to show you what's next. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and rest in his power and his love. God didn't give us anxiety. God didn't give us those fears. And then I'm thinking of all the other things like, okay, well, I got my family on the back end asking me what's next. Keep asking me, well, when you going? Like, what you doing? What's the job? Like, I don't need that. I'm paying my own bills. So I'm like, I'm having that stress of like, y'all in my business, but y'all not paying for my business. So please, it was just a lot. And God ended up opening the door. I ended up becoming a substitute teacher, which was perfect for what I'm trying to do right now because it gives me the flexibility to really pursue what it is that I wanted to do. Throughout the last couple months where random things have come up, and because of my flexible job, I've been able to do both. And I know that...
Not random things, singing opportunities.
Singing opportunities, yeah. I said random things because it's like, they be random. They be out of nowhere. I'm like, Lord, God really has been opening little doors. And I just kind of feel so full when it comes to this particular topic because God has really opened up my mind and my heart because this was something that I was like tearing on for a while, like in prayer, like, Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do. What's next? Like, it don't seem like nothing is working out. I don't have the resources. Even to this day, I battle this on a regular basis of just like, I don't have the resources. I don't know how I'm going to get myself there. But I've just understood and began just like, God's just really been speaking to me on this of it's not for you to understand how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
As long as you're doing the things that I'm positioning you to do, showing up when you need to show up, he already knows. He's seen the tears, so he's preparing me right now. So self-discovery has led me to realize, okay, well, there's some things in my own personal life that I need to get under control before I can be moved. And I had watched this podcast the other day, and it was so good. Jonathan McReynolds was talking about how everybody wants to be on top of the mountain because they like the valley is just so dry. Because, we hear about it in the Bible, like, oh, I'm in the valley of the shadow of death. But what he said was so profound to me. He was like, everybody's trying to get on top of the mountain, but don't you know that when you get to that top of the mountain, it's even harder to breathe? And sometimes you can be closer to God when you're in that valley, because that's when he's shaping you and pulling you out. So right now in this season where I'm not on the mountain, I'm not in my full potential yet, God is already doing a work in me, and I've been closer to him than I've ever been. Because this may feel like, a dry period, but in that dry period, he's giving me life, and he's been pouring into me. And as I'm getting towards that mountain, when I'm up there, I went up there full with him, not fall off of myself. I didn't climb up that mountain. God placed me up there. All right, so before we end, we kind of just want to tie all this together and just talk about what's next and trust in the process. What do you see?
Fulfillment. That's just the word that just came in my head. I think that what's next is truly becoming.
Yeah.
And I think that the process of becoming is not a destination. Because I think that you have to become different things for different seasons in your life. But I think that what you said to me the other day was like, you just started. You just started on your journey. You just started on your ministry. And I think that is for anybody, right? That is feeling like God has called them to something, whether that be big or small, right? I think that God is fulfilling a lot of our prayers that we may even have forgotten about. There's a lot of things that I forgot. Oh, God did pray about that. I didn't expect those things to happen. So fulfillment, and also like doing exceedingly and abundantly. I think that we have expectations, or we view like how God is going to do something one way, and he like, I'm God, I'm gonna do it this way, and it blows your mind. Trusting the process.
Yeah, trusting that process. That's what I would say is the biggest thing for me right now when it comes to what's next. And honestly, I have to do away with that word, what's next, because that for me, that for me means that I'm just, Lord, what's next? What's next? I'm too quick to try to get out of where it is that I'm at right now. And there's a reason that I'm in this place right now. Like, what's going on right now, God? What are you doing in me right now? What's next will come. He's going to lead us there. So trust in that process. This process is leading you to what is next. So it's like so quick we ask God, what's next? What's next? Okay, Lord. He knows you're ready. He knows, but you're not actually ready. You think you're ready. So trust what's going on right now. Even when it comes to just like, whether that's in your family, things may be rough. Things may be rough in your mental health. God, I'm ready for deliverance. I'm ready to be out. He's doing it in you. Just keep seeking him. The closer you draw to him, that's how you're going to get towards your breakthrough and towards where it is that you really want to be and where it is that he has called you and placed you to be. He didn't place you here to be in this broken state.
Yes.
No, that's not why we're here. And I know it's hard sometimes to trust in God, like when you're in the middle, like the journey is long. But when you know that God already wrote your story and he's walking along this journey with you, that's how you can find your peace and just really just release and lift your hands and say, God, whatever it is, you got it. And I submit to you.
So what would be like your song or verse of the week?
Oh, I have to look it up right here, but this is what I've been reading that really just got me. I was praying, and then I ended up opening the Bible app, and this was the first thing that came up. Psalms 46:10, it says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations, and I will be exalted in the earth. So at the end of the day, God's glory remains the same. He will be exalted. His word never changes. And so be still and trust in that.
Yeah.
Trust in his word. Trust in his promises. And that's all you can do.
Yeah.
What would you say yours?
Well, mine is a song.
Okay,
I've actually been playing this song, she knows, 1,000 times. And it's Yes by Shekinah Glory. In order for any of this to happen, God has to have your yes fully, truly. And I think that God is really wanting us to truly seek Him and get rid of what you learned in religion, what your family told you, what any of that, and really get on your knees and go before the throne of God and asking Him, like, Lord, show me you. Reveal, first of all, reveal myself. Like, show me what's not right in me, right? So I can get this up out of me. But also show me what true love is from you, God. Show me how to walk this walk, Lord. Like, truly, so that you can be sustained in this season. And God is truly calling the people of God higher, you know? So seek Him in this season. And like I said, He truly does want our yes, because our yes is just the first step. Because you got to realize once you say yes,
you got to know what you just said yes to.
Put your seatbelt on. Because I can't say you ever going to be ready.
It's not about thinking that you're ready, but being open. Okay, and allowing God to move however.
Amen.
You know? But this was really good. How you feeling?
I feel good. I think that God really moved during this. And I know that this is just the beginning. And I know that there is... I don't even have the words.
Yeah. No, yeah, this is just the beginning.
Know the words.
This is just the beginning. And as you stick along with us, I really just want to invite you all on this journey with us.
Yes.
We're two young adults who are just trying to figure this thing called life out, trying to figure walking as women of God, trying to just unpack things from our childhood, our past, and just really just become who we were placed here to be. And anybody out there who can relate to us, I hope that you continue to watch, share, like, and subscribe.
Yes,
this was Let's Get Into It with Lashay Lashae.